everybody. We are going to tell you about the gratitude experiment right now with the writer and creator. There's also a movie, by the way. Doug Vermeeren, how are you?
Excellent to be with you. Really good.
I know if you didn't say you were excellent, I'd say you should watch your movie.
I just want to say, you have no idea how happy I am that you're here.
Oh, great.
What is the gratitude experiment?
Well, the gratitude experiment is my second film, and it really kind of follows the course of, we see these films on the law of attraction, and we were talking about it earlier, thinking. So really, what difference does gratitude make in our life? How can we practice more of it? And, does it make a difference, especially in tragic situations?
Maybe give us an example.
Well,
how we could use this in our everyday lives and make things better.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one of the things that I found really interesting in the experiment specifically was that most people really don't know how to practice gratitude effectively. We have gratitude for, in other words, the things that are in our life. We have a nice car, we have a nice job, we have all these things. But then all of a sudden when catastrophe hits and things don't always go smoothly, where are we left with? And so in the film, we really talk about how to have gratitude in. So what that really means is in any situation, how do you find the gratitude in it so that it changes the situation? It changes it for the positive, because anything that gratitude touches, it expands.
I'm going to leave that alone. So, here's...
What are you thankful for? He wants to say a body part.
He wants to say it.
No,
so
don't.
Much. No, I was going to... It's interesting that you say that, because I know for myself, I've had to, as the kids say, get rid of some stinking thinking, turn that frown upside down. And doing so with the help of my wife. She's a very positive person. And so I found that for myself, that it alleviated a lot of my health issues, especially for like my stomach problems, headaches and everything like that. I mean, a few years ago, I lost a job. I didn't think of the job being gone. Just thought, no, I have more time for hobbies. Finally get to do all those projects around the house that I wanted to do.
It's interesting that you say that, because there was a study done at Harvard several years ago that said we have about 70,000 thoughts in a day. And they estimated that 85% of those are either negative or neutral. And what they mean by neutral is just the habitual thinking, the stuff we do every day, we don't think about it, etc. And then they also talked about positive thinking, which, we hear a lot about positive thinking, but positive thinking really requires an emergency to respond to. Like we're being reactive. If we miss the bus or lose our job or get divorced or whatever, we look for the positive thinking.
So should we be thankful for that bus? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, we should, but even in addition to that, there's a kind of thinking even higher than that called empowered thinking, where we actually decide ahead of time what we're going to do, our reactions, how we respond, how we are going to approach that. And that's what creates our victories. And I think that that's really where gratitude is, because until we're grateful for something, we often don't really believe it's possible. So in my opinion, gratitude and the word hope have a lot in common, right?
So, and I always ask this for people who always give, I like to call them the positive thinking type of seminars, because you go on YouTube and there's a billion videos that say, how to...
You can do it.
I believe in you, kiddo!
Yeah.
And how come he doesn't return my phone calls? How is the gratitude experiment different than something that you get from Anthony Robbins or something that you get from The Secret? Why the gratitude experiment?
Well, I think the interesting thing about a lot of the personal development people that are out there, and again, I'm fans of many of them, but most of them cut short after teaching you, sort of this is how, this is where you should be. They don't share the how to get there. They tell you, think positive, everything will be okay, but they don't really give you the steps in between, and there's a lot more to it. And so I believe that really, with a film like the gratitude experiment, which we've made, we kind of fill in the blank. So now that you know where you want to be, you've made the life decision that you're going to, change, and you're going to start looking at things better. Well, how do you really implement it? Because the challenge is kind of like what John Lennon said, life is what happens to us while we're making other plans. You can decide what you're going to do.
That's easy for him to say.
Yeah, you can say all these things. Yeah, that's right.
He did well.
Exactly. But we can all say these things. We want to be the top performer in our office. We all want to have a nice relationship at home. We all want to have these things, but how do you get there? And this is really what the film talks about, is really the details on how you create the life that you really want.
How did you do that?
Me? I watched The Secret. I'm kidding.
Yeah, there you go. We talked about that earlier, didn't we?
You have some people from The Secret.
I do.
In your film.
We do.
So what's the crossover there?
Yeah, basically, this is my second film now. So our first film, we had people like Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, Joe Vitale, Marcy Shimoff, Morris Goodman, Bob Dole, the whole gang from The Secret, really, John DeMartini, them all. And then in this film, I brought several of them back. And so in this film, we've got Bob Proctor, Marie Diamond, we've got John Gray, John DeMartini back, Mary Morrissey, people like this. And I think that The Secret was a great beginning to the conversation. Heck, it was, what, a 73-minute film. You can't answer all the questions and change someone's life in that amount of time. So this film and my last one are really just follow-ups on the how-to. The implementation of the information we've got, right? How do you now take it to that next level to make it really real in your life? real performance, if you will.
And what do you say to people who say, well, you know, Secret said we should think about winning the lottery, and wouldn't we all win the lottery? Isn't that?
Yeah, it's kind
law
of
of the attraction
interesting.
thing?
Yeah, a lot of people focus
Are
on
you
that
going to give me the
part,
how-to?
right? Well,
how to
this is
win
just
the
it.
lottery?
Yeah, how to, right? The truth of the matter is that we can all create our own destiny, but it takes a lot more than just kind of putting the positive thoughts out there. We really have to get busy, and we have to do something behind it. There are certain actions that
I mean,
need to
we
come.
have to work for it?
Yeah, well, here's an I'm out,
forget
right?
it.
But here's an analogy I like to use. Everything I believe takes time, practice, and a correct pattern, right? We have to have a correct pattern. If I were to, for example, put this meditation in that I'm going to be a heart surgeon, and I don't really put in the time, the practice, and the correct pattern, you wouldn't, would you?
No,
right?
And from what I understand, when people say, I want to win the lottery, or I want to be a heart surgeon, or I want to be successful, isn't it true that with these things, you're supposed to ask, why do you want to win the lottery? Why do you want to be a heart surgeon?
I definitely agree with you.
Why do you? And that, and these types of things help you get in that positive mind frame so that you can follow through and do those things.
And it's not enough just to say, I want. Right? Because a lot of people say I shoulda, I coulda, I can, I might, etc.
Get out of my head.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just bad grammar at that point.
Exactly, 100%. But you know what? Whenever we make a decision, it's not ever a true decision until we attach some kind of action towards it. We've really got to do something to demonstrate that we're on, we're committed to getting to that goal. And I consider it really the law of probability, right? There's no such thing as a do or a don't. It's everything that we're doing is taking us to a destination. And if you really, really want to get to a certain destination, let's say a perfect relationship or a better job or whatever, you've got to do something that will increase the probability that that will occur.
And will you succeed? 98.75% guaranteed.
Well, if you want to find out more, you can go to Doug's website. It's thegratitudeexperiment.com. It will tell you how you can see the movie as well. We're going to take a quick break and be back with more on The Rush right after this. Stay tuned. Thank you.